always say it to entrepreneurs, don't take this responsibility lightly. It's just really fucking hard sometimes.
I wasn't born with that entrepreneur spirit. I just wasn't.
It's tough when you're like the guy at the end of the month that has to figure out how to keep it afloat. It's really difficult. It's challenging as an entrepreneur.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown. That's a big responsibility. Like, how do you handle that day in, day out?
Here we are back again. Oh man.
You know what? Honestly, man, I had a plan. I had a plan.
You had a plan?
Honestly, like,
Fuck the plan.
fuck the plan. Jay, let's have a conversation, man.
All right, let's go.
Because right now is you and I have had a lot of like heart to hearts, a lot of closed doors, sitting down, and I just want to say, man, I'm so grateful that you and I get to like battle it out together. But entrepreneurship, I feel like right now, I mean, for you, for a lot of agents out there right now, this is the element of your personality that is being tested like it has never been tested before. And I look up to you, man, and I'll be honest, like I truly do, because I wasn't born with that entrepreneur spirit. I just wasn't. And as hard as I can try, and I'm shareholder in the company, president of operations, man, I live, eat, sleep, breathe this shit. I'm not you. Right? Like my name ain't on a billboard. This isn't Coaching with Joe, right? It's not the Joe Moretti Real Estate Group, right? Like, this is Sims. This is your baby. And I know right now, man, like the market, a lot of people point the fingers at the market. They're pointing the fingers at, especially team leaders. My agents aren't producing. Man, let's talk about you. Because I know, like, seriously, man, you've been stressed out.
Well, it's stressful, and it's
Absolutely.
not stressful. Like, here's the deal. In comparison to everybody else, we're doing well. The problem is we run a very expensive business model, and strategically we've gotten away with it for years. But now that it's gotten really tight, it's just like it's tough when you're like the guy at the end of the month that has to figure out how to keep it afloat. It's really difficult. It's challenging as an entrepreneur, and yeah, I mean, these gray hairs, they're real. I feel the pain that other people feel out there, and it's a grind. It's a grind every day, every month, right? Just trying to make it all happen and still support a family and everything else, just like anybody else. I'm an entrepreneur. The thing that I don't have that some people do is I am not heartless. And what I mean heartless, it's like sometimes my heart is bigger than my brain.
Yeah.
And that's just a truth thing with me. And it's tough. It's really tough, because I really think about every single person and how do I keep them going. And through COVID, through inflation, through everything, I have kept everybody moving forwards. I have made sure nobody like went backwards. You know how hard that is? But at some point as an entrepreneur, it's like, oh crap, right? I'm like, now for me, this is a lot tighter. Everybody's making money, but me at the moment, which is tough as an entrepreneur. So like I'm being vulnerable with people listening. Now, that's because we run a super high cost model, right? Like we have everybody local and everything else. And that's something we've always tried to do. And like culture is big for us. I want to deliver an amazing experience for our agents and I want to do all these things. And it's just been tough. It's been tough. So I'm just, you put it out there. I'm going to be vulnerable with you and say like, it's been tough.
Here we are. I think you and I roll in here every week and we've got our little agenda and our item of value, and we try to give everything, to that one person's listing. This is your $100,000, your $200,000. But I'll tell you, I think more money is won and lost between the ears than it is on a process. And I think that people kind of tune into us and they hear about what we're doing and the great things. But I think sometimes they don't hear about the struggle. They don't hear how real it is for guys like you. They look up to you as being this giant, mogul, this real estate guy, the guy who did 135 home sales in his first year. But I think that they neglect to understand the struggle and the responsibility that comes along with it. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. That's a big responsibility. Like, how do you handle that day in, day out? So before you even answer that, if you are sitting here and you are a team leader, if you are an individual agent and you want to be better tomorrow than you did yesterday, it comes at a cost. Jason, what's that cost?
It's tough, man. It's tough. When things go good, great, right? Everything's great. But when things aren't going well, you're always the first target. You're always the first person people are going to blame. You're the last to get paid every single month. Every month. And so the upsides, sure, can be great. I mean, being an entrepreneur has been an amazing blessing in my life. I'm not going to sit here and deny, but if there wasn't the upside, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. There has to be some upside for the amount of risk and stress that you take on, you know? And it's, yeah, it's been tough, man, the last 8 months. And again, we're outperforming everybody around us. Keep that in mind. We're doing well when you look at our numbers and our stats, but at the end of the day, P&L is important. Profit and loss is important. And when you take on a big overhead and things start tightening up, it's difficult. It's not easy. It's not easy, man. We're grinding hard. And
I'm going to stop you right there.
yeah.
You love using like these euphemisms, man. You love using these words. And I always say, what's the word I'm looking for? Shit. It's the word I always use, and I finally forgot it. You use these words with very vague meanings, like grinding.
Yeah.
Right? We always use words like value.
Yeah.
And I think that we don't often associate a meaning to those words. So you're saying we're grinding it out. Talk about that. What does that mean for people listening right now that want to be in that top 5%, 1%, 0.5%, 0.01%? What is grinding?
Well, everybody has to step up. Accountability is at an all-time high. Everybody has to look within themselves and say, am I doing enough? Am I bringing the right skills? Am I being proactive enough? Is my database organized to where I'm not letting opportunities slip through the cracks? Everybody has to have each other's back. People have to say, how do I give more right now versus how do I take more? This isn't a moment to take more. It's an opportunity to say, hey, how do I give more so we can get through this moment in time? And we've been through moments in time. And I'm proud of like our resiliency and how we get through it as a company and as a team. So it's not all doom and gloom. It's just sometimes when you're in the eye of a storm, which is where we've been at, it's not easy. And for me, I care so much about every single individual that it's like really hard, even the idea of having to reduce staffing at any point and stuff, because like these people have livelihoods, and although they're capable people, and I'm sure they would figure it out, I don't take it lightly. And I always say it to entrepreneurs, don't take this responsibility lightly. People trust you with their livelihood. You have to be able to weather economic volatility. It's just really fucking hard sometimes, if I'm being honest.
Hey, that's what this is about, man. Again, I had a plan. The plan's out the window because I think, again, this is a time for you and I to be honest. I truly do.
Yeah.
I don't care about process. I don't care about listing process or conversion right now. That's not what this is about. So you said a very interesting word, and rhetoric is the word I was searching for, right? Words that mean something that really don't mean shit. And you're the king of rhetoric, man. That's why I love you. Let's fucking go. I love the rhetoric. Accountability. Define it. Right now, for agents, for team leaders who are feeling that same struggle that you are, you're now going back and you're trying to rewrite a culture, right? And try to restore it back to greatness. What does accountability mean for you right now?
Never lower your standard. Never lower your standard.
What's your standard?
Your standard has to be world-class. We've always had world-class agents on our team.
Define it.
Define it, 6 figures or more. Every single agent since I've been here, except for the last couple of years, consistently earned 6 figures. Consistently, which means they had a high standard of how they operated, right? We tried to grow, and we moved away from standards because we followed other people's models, but we moved away from who we were. We were always an elite Navy SEAL squad of agents. We have some unbelievable talent. When we do things, we do it exceptional. We really are good at what we do. We have a great brand. We have a great reputation. Our agents are like well supported. Right now, we have 9 agents at the moment, I believe, in production, and we have 12 support staff. Think about that. 9 agents, 12 support staff. We just reduced our agent size to get back to the elite squad. So the challenge is we got to get those 9 agents performing at the level that we know is possible, and that's not an easy task. So it's not an easy task.
So at this point, add some clarity.
Sure.
Right. So add some clarity. What is happening right now? What exactly are the cultural shifts that you're implementing currently to help?
Well, I'm having one-on-ones with everybody. Number one, consistently, I've personally gone back into the real estate side. So I said, Joe, you need to come back to coaching. I need you to focus on that. I need to go on the real estate side. That's my baby. I know real estate better than anybody when it comes to residential. I truly believe that. Like, I'm really good at my craft. Like, just put me in there. They need me. You're the more likable one, but what they need is they need me. No offense. You don't have the
take it.
experience on the real estate side the way that I do, right? Like that's where I need to be. And I think you bring an amazing standard when it comes to how we facilitate in our academies, and like you do an outstanding job on that side. We have to go over there, and I have to bring like, hey, standards are back. And I'm calling people out, people that haven't been living to those standards. I've been holding them to the fire, which is like, hey, we need you to do X to prove yourself. Like we have 5 inside sales agents, 5. 4 of them are licensed that are teeing up opportunities every day for our agents. And right now, there's only 6 agents that I trust to give the ball to at the moment. 6. Those agents are going to be busy, but there's still a standard that they have to uphold. The other 3 agents, I'm working with them to get them to that standard because I believe in them. I believe that they're capable of it. But we're not socialism here. The socialism won't pay our bills, unfortunately. We have to put the ball in our best players' hands for this company to get back to where I know it's capable. And Sims is a great company. It's a great brand, and it's done unbelievable. And I will not let it go backwards. I will not. It's just not going to happen. The tough thing is, though, is like we have this monster that we've created, and that's all. Like for me, I have to figure it out. How do I get us to where we need to go? The culture shifted quickly back to what it used to be, which is great. I'm excited about that. People are excited. Our agents are optimistic, right? I'm sure some of our support staff are nervous because they're like, oh, there's some changes and stuff. I get that. That's human nature. But what they need to understand is like, we have a good thing and we are going to fight hard for every single person. And this isn't something that's ever going to be considered lightly. If we have to, worst case scenario, have to do reductions, which is not the goal, it won't be because we haven't looked at every other single option on the table, right? But that's sometimes a tough thing as an entrepreneur is like you have to be able to make those tough decisions, which aren't going to be popular in the moment, but like you have to think about the longevity of the business and the company, and you can't continue to bleed. And that's kind of where I've been at. It's like, oh man, how much longer do I do that? But I feel optimistic. Things are turning the corner. And like I said, we've outperformed our competitors during this tough time. So it's not like this is unique to us.
So that there's a couple great points I think that we can take from that. And number one is, surround you. We've been saying it since podcast episode 1. Surround yourself with the right people. Be in the right rooms. Who are the people that you're in the rooms with that are helping you stay focused, right, driven, accountable? I'm not talking about the agents. I'm talking about you.
Myself.
Who else?
Well, I've got people around me.
Honestly,
listen, I hold myself accountable at this point.
So
right? I put myself in a position where I know what I need to do, and I need to execute on it.
So that being said, for all the people that are out there that are in a very similar position where they're like, I got to grind this out. I've got myself in a spot that I need to turn things around. Right? I've let culture shift. I haven't been involved. For all those people that have pointed the fingers at themselves that maybe don't have that inner accountability, what would your advice be?
Well, first things, you point the finger at yourself. That's huge. Take accountability for where you're at. It's your fault. You're the only person that can fix that, right? Control your actions. Number 2 is action. This is a time to take massive levels of action. That's the only way to get yourself out of this. 3 is take a look at your expense sheet. Right now is the time to take a look at that. Is there some costs that don't make sense? And get ahead of those. Eliminate those costs, right? Don't slit your own throat, though. There's good costs and there's bad costs. You have to be able to look at what those good and bad costs are. Right now, though, it's tough. It's tough for a lot of people. Like inflation. Our vendors that we've been doing business with, their prices now, like for example, for a listing, are up 60% from where they were. Not just a small increase. Sorry. Not 60%, sorry, 110%. So what I used to pay $600 for, now I'm paying $1,300 for that. And I'm not making more. I'm making a little less, right? So think about that. And interest rates are up. So like what you used to pay on debt, now you're paying almost 2.5 times what you were paying. You're like, it's compounded for every single person that's in my shoes. It's compounded and it's tough. It's really tough. And a lot of businesses are going through this. This isn't just unique to us.
No, it's all industries.
I will personally be okay, but it's not me that I worry about. It's others. This is why I'm like, this is the struggle for me. It's like, I don't want to ever put people in a tough spot. And so I'm really fighting hard, Joe, like tooth and nail,
I know.
personally taking money from my own savings to try and keep it afloat. That's what entrepreneurship is. It's not sexy when it's not fun.
So again, man, king of the rhetoric.
Joe, I don't know, man. You threw me off. We had a completely different show. Now you're throwing me on the spot in front of people. It's a bit of a weird conversation to have because it's not other people's problems to fucking worry about. It's my problem. I think it's a bit of a weird thing that you're throwing at me, to be honest.
But I think the thing is there's a lot of people out there that are in that position where they've created businesses, and right now they're suffering, man. And I think that's an interesting piece. So you mentioned the word action. So for the agents out there, for the team leaders out there, define what massive action looks like right now at this stage of the market.
Well, as an agent, that's your calls. Every single client that you've done business with in the past, are you calling them and providing them an equity report, right? Their assessments are out. Hey, guess what? That may not be an accurate value of your home. In fact, I've seen that these can be anywhere from 10 to 40% off the actual value. Would you like me to give you an updated report so at least you know what your equity position looks like? Hey, by the way, your neighbor, they just sold for X. Here's what that means for you in your area now, right? That's a new benchmark that's been set. Hey, by the way, there's a lot of opportunity in the market right now. Certain people are really capitalizing and long-term going to create some amazing wealth. Now, people fall in one of two categories. They're either sitting on the fence, kind of watching things happen, or B, they're sort of thinking about making some plans. Which category would you say suits you?
Category A.
Okay, great. Well, and I realize, Joe, that you might not be doing something now, but if you were doing something in the future, what would that look like for you? Right? There's opportunity that you can create there.
You know what the funny thing is?
What?
We went from having this open, vulnerable conversation. We've now gone back to, there's your $500,000 over the next 12 months.
Yeah. Listen, this business isn't that hard to run in a sales capacity. It's when you try and run a business and you hire all the people that you care about. It becomes tough. It becomes tough when it's like volatile. But I believe in what we have. I believe in the people that we have, and we just got to figure it out. But it's one of those moments in time where people need to just say, hey, what can I do to push us forwards? Not what can you do for me? It's just not that moment. It's like, guys, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I'm trying to battle. I need others to jump in with me.
And here's what I'm going to tell you, man. Thanks for being vulnerable.
Yeah, well, there you go. Thanks for fucking this episode.
Because I love you. And I think there's a lot of people that want to hear that, man. They want to hear the real side. And I think that a lot of times we paint it as with this brush that, hey, come on in, here's your 100,000. You're going to make more than a plastic surgeon doing boob jobs 3 times a day. But they don't see what that struggle looks like. They don't hear it from somebody who's been to the top, right? Because you look at all those agents that are up there that have these giant teams, all those people, it's all ego pride. And I think it's very rare that you get a top producer like you to actually open up, man. And for that, I know there's going to be a handful of people out there that are going to be thankful for this episode.
Don't give up. There's lots of opportunity coming. That's true, but it's not easy. Being an entrepreneur is not easy. And I would not recommend to everybody to run a higher cost business model if you can't handle volatility, because it's tough.
Control the P&L.
Yeah, control your P&L for sure.
Hey, just like Big Daddy Kane once said, pimping ain't easy.
Yeah, pimping ain't easy.
Love you, buddy.
There you go. Fucker.